we have what we call on our second topic, we have what we call the Declaration of Rights of Men. The Declaration of Rights of Men, it was the what we call it was included on August 20. As it was included on August 20, we can refer as to the Constitution of year 1. And we can also include it to be the first constitution in France. Remember, we have stipulated that in France it was an absolute monarchy. How to get? After the August 4 session, after the peasants, the nobles, and some part of the clergy, they discovered that they've taken the political power. They decided to formulate or to come up with what we call a constitution. How to get? So this was the first constitution to exist in France. Are we together? So iri first constitution yakaexista in France, kureva kuti by this time France ndopa yakatanga kutonga ichishandisa inonzi constitution for the first time. Tikunzwana naye? So they proposed that citizenship was by birth, number 1, which means kuti munhu akazvarirwa muFrance nizoka vabereki vake nyangwe vari maforeigners but akaita makore 5 and above aifanha kunzi atova muFrench. Then tapedza ipapo, Declaration of Rights of Men was a death certificate of the ancient regime. When we are saying the Declaration of Rights of Men was a death certificate of the ancient regime, it means that when the constitution was formulated, it means that the ancient regime was executed vehemently and for sure. Kwanga kusisina chinhu chinonzi divine right of king. Ma-kings haasakwanise kutonga asina constitution. How to get? And what you have to know, Louis aiva munhu aiti zvaafunga nevanhu vake ndozvavaiti, but in this case vava kufanha kuuya nemutemo wakanyorwa. Mutemo uyu watanyora ndiwo waakushanda. So tapedza ipapo ndezvekuti the reason why the National Assembly was named the Constituent Assembly, it is because it drafted the first constitution in France. Ndosaka yanzi the Constituent Assembly. Noti ndo vanhu vakagadzira bumbiro remutemo for the first time since France yasikwa, since France yalakwa. Tikunzwana here panapa. Then tapedza ipapo, it should be noted that the Declaration of Rights of Men showed the impetus that the philosophical ideas had on the revolution, which means that Montesquieu, Rousseau, and Voltaire, when they were telling these French citizens that they must have a constitution and they must not be manipulated by the government, the people, they started to be incited and they liked and grabbed the idea. So by this case, they wanted to remove this government and they managed to remove the government so that they give the constitution as declared by the philosophical ideas. Kuroti mafilosofa pavaiuya vachivaudza kuti kuEurope, kuBritain, kuchii kune constitution, vanhu vane liberty, fraternity and equality, ivo vakazvigreba vavazvisa into action. Tutezi vanhu veNational Assembly. Vanhu vari kunzi the National Assembly ndiani? Ma-peasants atorera Louis power. Then tapedza ipapo, the declaration asserted the right of people to rule themselves. Number 1, people now have the ability to rule themselves, and that men by nature were equal, and that they should have freedom of expression and right to information, and that citizens should have the right through their representative to make laws and to impose taxation, and that no one should be arbitrarily arrested. When you are talking about arbitrary arrest, before this government, mu France waigona kusungwa woshaya lawyer anokumirira kuti hauna mhosva. Ticheze, saka waigona ngonzi une mhosva, handika yekungopomerwa, wotoenda kujeri, wovharirwa, hakuna kuenda kukoti, hakuna kunozvijustify. Titeze, so iyi yainzi Declaration of Rights of Men yaiti tikasunga munhu ngaende kukoti, oita lawyer rinomumiririra. And above all kwakunzi equality between men, hakuna kuti first state, hakuna kuti second state, hakusisina zvekuti munhu anonzi anozvarwa ari musoja, munhu anozvarwa ari king. For you to be a king, unofanha kunge uchivhoterwa nevanhu. Tikunzwana naye? Ndo constitution iri kuya. Also, however, what crystallized the situation in France was the fact that the assembly began to question the king's position in the new constitutional order. This is what sparked what we call the French Revolution. Now what happened when this National Assembly was formed, or when this National Assembly was formulated, what happened was the event whereby people, they started to ask, how are we going to give? What is the position of Louis XVI? Tagadzira new government, tagadzira new constitution. Saka Louis tichamuita sei? Iye achaitwa sei? Chinzwa manje. So some nobility, they demanded that only the king had the power to veto. What we call veto powers. The veto powers, these are powers to rule or to outrule. Ma veto powers ndo ane vabereki vako. Titesi, iwewe ukaenda kumba une mari yako, ukatanga kutaura ma-events ekuti jedi ndokumbira kuenda kutauni, nyangwe une mari yako muhomwe, they give you permission, they say yes or no, you cannot travel. Are we together? Mukunzaira zvandi kutaura pana, vanogona kukudza kuti ichokwadi, unogona kufamba kana kuti hauendi, ende wewe hauna matauriro. So Louis akanga achida kupuhwa power iroro. And this is one of the weaknesses of the National Assembly, that they granted Louis XVI the veto powers, because somehow he was ruling them indirectly, because munhu achiri nepower. So when this debate was formulated or inflamed within the National Assembly, they decided to go for votes. That is the peasants against the nobility. Chitesi, ma peasants in the nobility vaenda kuma votes. The nobility, they won 673 votes out of 325 votes, Zema peasants. So it means that Louis was granted veto powers. Which means kuti Louis, ku new government yedu inonzi the Constitutional Assembly, power raanaro ndere kuita out to rule or to rule. Titesi, ane power rekutaura kuti izvo zvamuri kutaura izvo kaizvo hazvisiri izvo, which means one way or the other ari kutotonga vanhu. This is what we call the Declaration of Rights of Men. It was positive. Why? It granted people liberty, fraternity, and equality. But it had a defect. Why? They granted Louis the veto powers. Tanzania.